Me?
I just want to talk real quick about number 7, about that adult sexually oriented business. If y'all allow that to come into this county, you're going to be doing the taxpayers and your county people that live here a great disservice. I don't think they need to be here. I don't want them here. And if y'all can see your way to it that they don't have the opportunity to even buy a piece of property or open that business, I sure would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shocker.
Thank you.
Cheryl Moy?
I am Cheryl Moy, and I'm here to talk about the food bank that was on Monday. I just want to thank you for blessing our community with that. In the times of turmoil that we seem like we all have different opinions of how we run things, I want to say that it was a true blessing to me to be able to go out there and to see. I think that was a wonderful decision that was made by Commissioners Court to allow this. It's an nutritionally based program, and it was run so smoothly. Everybody, the little ladies or people that couldn't get out of their cars were able to drive through. I've never seen so much. There were a lot of different volunteers, but the people that were there might have different opinions in here, but we all worked together out there, and it was a true blessing to me. And I want to thank y'all for making that possible for the citizens of our county, because not everybody is part of it. They are in the Eagle Ford Shale, but they aren't getting the monies and stuff. And there are really, truly people that need that. And it's not just a selected group of people, but it's everybody. And I got to visit with some of the little people I hadn't seen, and it's also a stimulus for the widows. They pick up their little friends and they drive in their cars, and you make it possible for them that they can not have to get out, but they still had that, and nobody was looked upon as being this or that, or it was just a great thing. So Commissioners, thank you for allowing that food bank to serve the residents, all the residents of Columbus County.
Thanks, Ms. Lloyd. And thank you for helping us. We love having you out there.
And I, you know what? I wasn't there with the other times. I wasn't able to really. I was just kind of invited. I think you told me to. Why don't you come over there? And I thought,
We got your number now, Ms.
I'm
Lloyd.
gonna, you know what?
You know where she lives.
I mean, you know what?
We'll pick you up on the way.
I felt like I was walking away with more than what I did. So it was a good thing. So everybody elected, thank you for allowing that for our county.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Mr. Yarder? I don't know if he wants to speak or not.
Maurice.
Mr. Yarder, you signed up to be a citizen. Do you want to? Okay. Philip Wright?
How are y'all doing today?
Good
I
morning,
appreciate
Mr.
the
Wright.
time. I came to talk about item number 7 as well. I live out on County Road, I actually call it Dusty Road 127, but anyway, you know, if we allow this sort of trash to inundate our county, it'll make it, what trash is on the side of the road right now seem like nothing, because nothing ever good comes by letting the criminal element, which is sexually oriented material, people can do it behind their own closed doors if they choose to. You got the internet, you got the mail service, you can subscribe to stuff. But our children to and from school, people to and from church, don't need to be having this sort of neon, I won't use the word that came to mind, but we don't need to have this in our face 24/7. We are behind getting utilities to good people that are trying to make an honest living, and there's just so many other public services. The sheriff department is just getting up to speed with the extra deputies coming on board, and we don't need to have more distractions out in the county to where, you know, it would take even more resources to really keep an eye on these folks. And you know, these people make tons of money many other ways, and they sure as heck don't need to come and bother our way of life in Karnes County. And that's all I have to say. I'll put up with chug holes and dusty roads, but my goodness, you know, please don't allow scumbags to come in here, worse than carpetbaggers, to come in here and take over our way of life and pollute our children's minds and even the minds of us old folks. You know, we've got enough on our minds as it is. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Ryan. Well, the next item on the agenda is to discuss, approve, disapprove an order providing for licensing and regulation of sexually oriented businesses in unincorporated areas of Karnes County, Texas, providing penalties, providing for severability, and providing an effective date, and the author is me. And I would like to tell Mr. Shockley and Mr. Wright, I hate to disappoint you, but the idea is to keep them out. This was not to let them come in.
Okay.
What happened is in the Eagle Ford Shell area, the word gentleman's club is being used. And the first time I told somebody, I had somebody call and ask me about a gentleman's club, everybody kind of chuckled. Then at an ACOG meeting, Judge Rodriguez had been approached, and I've been keeping up with Commissioner DeWitt out of B County and find out that B County had been approached, and McMullen County had been approached. And McMullen County, out of total unadulterated fear, probably went and had a sexually oriented businesses regulations for governing. And they had Jim Allison from Allison Bass and Associates draw it up. Well, then when McMullen County started moving towards B County, Mr. DeWitt went and got that same policy. And what it is to make sure that, because in Beeville, the Ministerial Alliance, the citizens, they were all getting together as they were concerned, because you can't really regulate how people use their property. But we can provide regulations of what we don't want to see with what they use their property for. So this is a large document that tells you the 5 million things we don't want in Karnes County. And it is the same one adopted by McMullen and B County. And so as not to reinvent the wheel, I think that I've talked to you guys about the fact that we've been having these little head banging contests between judges of, you know, what did you do with this problem in the Eagle Ford, or what did you do? And so we're trying to share each other's ideas. That being said, what this is it's regulations concerning, it's to prohibit us from having to look at, from being away from schools, from being away from churches. The ministers in Beeville have gone through it, all these people have gone through it. And rather than reinvent the wheel and go out with Mr. Busselman and try to figure this out, we were allowed to use this because it wasn't copyrighted. So that's all that I was asking for here today, was to pass an order about licensing and stuff to make Karnes County not the place to want to come. Because unfortunately, these places are we have people that are living in conditions that they're not used to living in. We have people that aren't able to go home. We can hype the oil field all we want. We can make it look like this treasure beyond belief. These men don't get to go home. These women don't get to go home. These people are living lives they're not used to living. I mean, nobody wants to live as, here, there, A, B, C. I mean, we like to go home every night, don't we? I mean, I know all of us do. And so, but things are popping up because these people are from big cities where things happen in big cities that we're not used to seeing in small communities. We're more family-oriented. We're more value-based or moral-based, or so I would like to believe. And so that's what this policy is about, is to keep it away from us, not to bring it to us. And we can't stop people from coming here, but we can dang sure give it a heck of a try to keep them away from our families, away from our businesses, away from our churches, and away from the stuff that we don't have to see. And I think Jim Allison did a really good job on this. And if anybody wants to read it, but it's the same thing McMullen County and B County have adopted, and I'd like to be in that same boat. And so that's why it's here.
I guess I have a question for the county attorney. If we adopt it, we disapprove this, are this gonna keep them out once and forever, once and for all?
It's not gonna be a complete remedy. You'll have questions come along, and you'll have probably hear people trying to circumvent it, but at least you've got this in place. Okay?
By circumvent, you mean sue the
There's
county?
always a loophole, usually. You'll be looking for loopholes.
What you mean by circumvent, you mean sue the county?
Yeah. But at least you have something. Without that, you have nothing.
Yes.
And you look at some of this, and I just want to read you one paragraph out of here that I just found amusing, and it says, license required for a sexually oriented business, okay? It says, it shall be unlawful for any person to operate or maintain a sexually oriented business in the county unless the owner, operator, or lessee thereof has obtained a sexually oriented business license from the county. or to operate such business after such license has expired or has been revoked or suspended by the county or following the abandonment of the business. And I think that's one of those things, we get that stronghold, are we gonna really hand out sexually oriented business licenses in Karnes County? I mean, I like to believe that we'd have ministers, I mean, anybody in their right mind if you're fighting that. So if we jump ahead of that curve and you read this huge, huge book of violations, you'll see that it makes it extremely difficult to be able to come in here and get on top of our churches, our families, so that's where I'm at with that.
Well, you remember the movie that was made about someplace over here in East Texas?
Well, we're not, we don't wanna do that. And, I mean, but they are trying to come in here, and we need to get rules and regulations to be able to prohibit them from doing certain things, from being around certain things. And,
Judge, I had 2 calls. Past about this, that's what I thought they were about teaching, because people are actually looking at Orange County.
and they're looking at us hard right now, and we need some way to, I mean, I get the calls. Judge Silva did not find me humorous when I told him I thought B County was a little bit bigger and better for business, and so, but they have the policy out, and I would like to have a policy in effect to be able to stop some of this stuff before it starts.
Okay.
Because we're gonna get hounded. I mean, the calls are coming in, people wanna be here for some reason.
I would like to make a motion to disapprove an order providing for licensing and regulation of sexually oriented businesses in unincorporated areas of Karnes County, Texas, providing penalties, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Now, second.
Wait. You said disapprove.
You want to approve the order.
Oh, okay, approve, I'm sorry. I was just thinking, I don't want this.
We don't want.
You're right,
We don't want them in there.
Right, but we have to approve the order.
However y'all write it, we don't want.
I had disapproved on it.
I was asking what you were gonna do. Are you-
I was like, I
you
don't
sold your
approve,
acreage and
I
you
don't
just
approve
want
of this.
to- Okay, so you're not approving of it.
Okay, I make a motion
Yeah, we don't want
to
it.
approve an order, approve an order providing for the licensing and regulation of sexually oriented business and work. Well, no, I think I had it right. didn't I?
No, discuss
We
an
don't
order.
want
have to get the license if they're gonna do it.
We have to approve the licensing and regulation.
Okay, so
Providing for
You're
license.
approving the
if I don't want it, I have to approve it.
That's right. You have to
Okay,
approve it if
okay.
you don't want it.
I make a motion to approve an order providing for licensing and regulation of sexually oriented businesses in unincorporated areas of Karnes County, Texas, and providing penalties, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
And the effective date will be 2/29/12.
And so Barbara, now on another subsequent agenda, doesn't there need to be fees set up for these licensings and penalties, et cetera, so they're on record?
But you're not gonna have one.
Yeah,
A lot of the stuff will wanna, if you, let's
It's
go
already
here,
in.
yeah.
we're not gonna approve
You're
it.
not gonna have one.
So anyway, I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now we're down to 3-0, no opposition, 2 missing. If I could get,
If they wanna go, they can go to San Antonio.
if I could get you guys to sign this and then hand it to Carol.
They gotta do it.
All right.
That's what I heard.
Would you sign the last page and give it to Carol?
Drink certificate.
I'm not thinking it's the drinks that we was concerned about. Well, and like I said, we're just trying to get ahead of the curve, being progressive versus, oh God, what do we do? And the next item on the agenda is to discuss, approve, disapprove entering into a commercial electricity supply agreement for a 12-month period, May 20, you know, Luana, I'll let you say.
ASBE has negotiated again with AEP for reduced rates for electricity. Currently, we are in a contract with them for 12 months, which ends in in April of 2013. We have the option to enter into another agreement now, which would extend the period. We can either do it May of 2012 through April 2014 for a 12-month period at a fixed cap price of 0.05195 per kilowatt hour, or we can do a 36-month period from May 13 to April 16 at the fixed cap of .5495 per kilowatt hour. Currently, the contract we're under is 5.220 cents per kilowatt hour. I would recommend that we extend the 12-month contract at the fixed price cap of .05195 per kilowatt hour. Right, due to the price of natural gas.
Then I make a motion that we enter into a commercial electricity supply agreement for a 12-month period, May 2012 to April 2014, at a fixed price cap of 0.05195 a kilowatt hour through the TASB co-op with Direct Energy.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No opposition. Motion carries 3-0.
For clarification, there was a typo on that time period. It was May 2013 through April 2014, not May 12.
May 2013
Correct. Through April 2014.
to April 2014. So that would, my motion would have been May 2013 to April 2014. I'm sorry, Carol. We're still there. Number 9 is to approve bond for Karnes County District Clerk Denise Rodriguez effective 3/2/12 to 12/31/12 in the office of Luana. We're just looking to approve the bond?
Correct.
Right. Okay. I make a motion that we approve the bond for Karnes County District Clerk Denise Rodriguez effective 3/2/12 to 12/31/12.
I second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? No opposition. Motion carries 3-0. Number 11 is Dixie. It's presentation of officers and board members for the Karnes County Library System. Dixie moves.
This is a formality, presenting the officers and board members for the Karnes County Library System for year of 2012. From Kennedy, we have John Hayden, Brenda Erick, and Kathy Steger. From Karnes City, Jerry Vidas, Sandra Carter, and Lillian Lissy. From Runge, Lola Lissy, Curtis Plant, and Gloria Jansen. And from Falls City, Janie Moots, Marilyn Neschwitz, and Janet Jude. Do you all have a copy?
Do we have one? You got extras?
I have extras.
Oh, thank you.
You need one, Carol? And it also lists our meeting times and individual library directors' names.
Thank you, Dixie.
And the officers are Sandra Carter is president, Marilyn Neschwitz is vice president, Kathy Steger secretary, and Lola Lissy is the treasurer. And that's all I have about that.
Thank you, Dixie.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is John Banks still here? Because I know he's sitting here waiting.
Yeah, he's
on us.
here.
And you might, yeah. Can we skip around real quick so we can, let's go to number 25. But I see him walking back and forth. Hey, John, I'm sorry, but I kind of saw you walking back and forth out there earlier, so I figured you were wanting to leave.
No, I'm good whenever you want to put me on the agenda.
Now?
Okay.
Okay, so we need to do, the way that this was sent to me was a closed session item and then,
Open it back up for discussion and approval of certain resale properties.
okay. So do we need to make a motion to go into executive session?
Yes. What's the reason?
Evaluation of discussion of valuation of property, 551.072, the government code.
Okay, then I make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss the concerning evaluation of properties according to 551072 of the Texas Government Code. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, motion carries 3-0. Mr. Banks, where'd you
Back on the
go?
record.
So what we talked about in there was evaluation of properties, and what Mr. Banks was explaining to us is that some of the stuff is just so old, we can't find any of the back, it's been written off years and years ago, and he's doing his best that he can to collect and quote unquote give us free money, so we kind of like Mr. Banks right now.
Right now.
Right now, today.
Like pretty much all the time. That's your job.
So we're gonna move on to the open session action on the items. It's gonna say, consider take action on authorizing the legal tax attorneys to consummate sales on the following resale properties subject to execution of resale bid form provided by the bidder by the tax collector. A was, you want me to just go through and read Mr. Banks and then do yes or no?
However you want to handle it. And I can give the bid amounts, as you read them, I can give you the bid amounts and the bidder, highest
Okay.
bidder.
A was RC 1509, that's 4.33 acres in the J. Hernandez survey, AB 140.
And the bidder is Adrian Opiella, who is an adjoining landowner. This is surface estate only. His bid is $13,200. I believe he's already submitted the bid sheet, but if he doesn't, if it's approved, I'm going to make sure he completes the bid sheet and sends in the full amount before I tender a deed to you to sign and give to him.
Do we need to make a motion on each one of those just for clarification?
I think if you go through and just, if you identify whether it's approved or not, well, it'd probably be safest just to do a motion on each whenever we get through, going through the items.
You can do it in blank, couldn't you, John?
Yeah.
Saying all these are marked.
Okay.
As long as you can identify it so it can be distinguished.
Okay, then B is RC 5465, Lot 3, that's 11 and 12 at Block 210.
That is a property that Harold Joe Bishop III has submitted a bid of $3,035. That is the equal to the 2011 appraised value for that property.
C is R12016, Lot 10, Block 204, that's 3/4 undivided interest.
Are we approving these as we go along?
No, he said we're gonna do it at the
We'll
end.
come back.
I just want to identify the bidders and the
I'm sorry.
bid amounts.
On these?
We're selling an undivided interest, John?
We're selling two undivided interests that together, the aggregate is the whole. The 3/4 undivided interest and a 1/4 undivided interest, so he's purchasing the entire property.
Okay, so did I only read one of those, and the other is RC 3398, Lot 10, Block 204, and that's 1/4 undivided interest?
In Lot 10, Block 204. And the bidder is Cletus Bianchi, and the bid amount is $1,500. The total amount of taxes owing is the $124.13 plus $69, so $193. So about 8 times more than the taxes owed.
Okay, D is R1197, Lot 3, Block 26, 3/4 undivided interest, and RC 3376, Lot 3, Block 26, 1/4 undivided interest.
The high bidder was Grace Friesenhans Solis. She bid $220 for, again, it's two account numbers. One represents the 3/4 undivided interest, one represents a 1/4 undivided interest. This bid amount equals, actually the 2011 appraised values for both of these interest is $210, and she has bid $220.
E is RC 39067, Lot 9, Block 75.
Bidder is Matthew and Angelita Taylor. The bid amount, $630, equals the 2011 appraised value for that property, for Lot 9, Block 75.
F is RC 5386, part of Lot 8, Block 26.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that one be removed from consideration because the bidder contacted me yesterday and said that he wished to withdraw his bid.
Which one is that?
It's
F.
RC 5396F.
G is R 11989, lots 5 and 7, block 103, 3/4 undivided interest, and RC 3385, lots 5 and 7, block 103, 1/4 undivided interest.
That, the total appraised value for both of those lots is $732. This is a lot, a vacant lot that adjoins property that is currently owned by the bidder, William Massey, and he has submitted a bid for $750. It slightly exceeds the appraised value for those properties. All of these properties, the bid forms that are presented to the bidders, is all of the bidders understand that these are surface estates only that they are acquiring.
Can I make a motion that we approve A, B, C, D, E, and G, and disapprove F, which is the one that the bidder withdrew? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
And Judge, just for clarification for the record, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be contacting each of the successful bidders. I'll be making sure that if they haven't previously submitted the bid for purchase of property form, that is completed, that the full purchase amount is provided to me. When that is done, I'll present them to the deeds to the judge for signature, and I'll make sure that monies are paid to the tax office for the amounts that are owed, and any excess proceeds will disperse as basically a windfall for the general fund for the respective taxing entities. And last thing, just for clarification purposes, all of these properties are held in trust. So the taxing entity will receive its pro rata share that it's entitled to under the judgment.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank
Mr.
you for
Banks.
your time, Judge,
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Do they get the mineral rights on that?
They do not.
Okay.
Number 12 is, that's where we are, right? If we look in order, like, that's where we're at. Is discuss, approve, disapprove on sheriff department calculation of comp time, straight time over 80 hours, and that's why.
Going to hand you two things. One is the county policy on payrolls and timesheets. It also involves comp time, record keeping, who's responsible for keeping records, and then an email from Mary Ann Sines from TAC on the regulations. What we currently follow is the 160 to 170 rule and 28-hour working period. Basically, what happens with law enforcement, you do not get comp time until you work 85.5 hours in a 2-week period. After that, you're given time and a half. If you work 83 hours for the county under the sheriff's department, dispatcher, or jailer, or a deputy, you basically, those 3 hours are freebie hours. You don't get any straight time or comp time for them. So I talked with Mary Ann. She said she could come and talk to us if we wanted her to, but she was booked until the end of March. Basically, it's up to the county's discretion what they do with those 80 to 85.5 hours. If we give them straight time for it, or if we do nothing with them. And right now, we are doing nothing with them.
So they have to work, they're gonna work that 5 or 5.5 hours for free until they get.
Right, they're not credited on their comp time with that, correct?
That doesn't make sense. I mean, other departments aren't like that.
Well, and it's just a law, because basically they can't work 8 to 5 and say, oh, I don't care if it's a crime scene, it's 5 o'clock, I gotta go home. You know, they can't control their comp time as well as we can. So there's the law in there, gives them the regulations for law enforcement. Gives the counties that little leeway where they don't have to give them overtime or comp time until the 85.5 hours.
But I mean, if they're at a call, they're in the scene of an
Right,
accident.
they can't leave.
They can't control their overtime or their comp time.
Right, and that's why this
Well, I
law is,
thought that the officers were getting paid so much per year, like 32.
Yes,
something like that.
yes.
What does this have to do with any time? Hey, you're on duty all the time.
So
Are you
you're
still-
saying
but you-
salary, not hourly?
I get paid, I'm on duty all the time. Whether
But-
they call me or not.
but they still have a timesheet to turn in every 2 weeks and you don't. So for all I know, you're going home and drinking a beer 24/7 and doing nothing when they're
Well, I
on.
might be.
You might be, and you're still getting paid for it, and they have a timesheet that they have to turn in every 2 weeks. And if it's over 80 hours, or 82 hours, or 83 hours, there's nothing toward them. If I worked 82 or 83 hours, or Julie did, she gets time and a half. They don't get anything till 85.5 hours, because that's what the state regulation says that we're allowed to do.
That's the regulations.
I'm sorry,
That's federal.
that's federal regulations.
So they're classified as salary, correct?
No.
Is that what the FLSA is? Are they it would have to be. Are they classifying?
We're all
as salary?
salaried.
Except for part-timers, but the FLSA, Fair Labor Standards Act, specifies specific things for law enforcement.
Right, and that's what we
160 to
follow.
170 is what their salary entails. If they work more than 80 hours before 85 and a half, technically those are donated or freebie hours to the county, because their timesheets are based on 160 to 170 before comp is accrued.
Based on your-
We don't pay comp, we pay them at time and a half. After officers are at 85 and a half, we book time and a half hour, each hour per time and a half after 85 and a half hours for law enforcement, because they are unique characters. I was gonna say strange, but that didn't sound real well.
Not very politically correct there, but.
No, but I can guarantee you, those strange critters, I like them when I'm in trouble.
But
What have been things that happened in the past?
in the past, we have based it on the Fair Labor Standards
That's what I
Act,
thought.
the 85 and a half hours. Again, if this was to be considered by court, it should be presented by the sheriff as an amendment to his policy, because he also has a policy that is supposed to be in place that supersedes the county's policy, because law enforcement are unique characters.
And our policy manual states that we follow the Fair Standard Labor Act.
So let me get this clear. If you work for the sheriff's department as a deputy, you're gonna have to work 100 and.
Well, if we
I mean,
get paid
You're gonna
at-
have to work 85.5 hours before you get comp time.
Every 2 weeks.
Accrued comp time.
Or your accrued comp time, for every
You
2
get
weeks.
time and a half.
So that 5.5, you're not gonna get paid for.
Well, we don't pay until
I
we
mean,
leave.
well, not get paid, but you're
Right.
not gonna get any comp.
You're not getting any credit for it, you're not getting an hour per
But they
hour.
can take it up. They
on
can,
it.
they can.
This has been around since 1992.
They can take it off since 1992.
Mr. Pierce, would you like to say something?
I sure would. Come on forward, read.
They can use that time though.
That,
Can't
that
be
5
sure.
hours, the
No.
deputies, they don't even get, they're not asking for time, and I'm the one that brought it up by, because I had several different answers, I couldn't get the right answer. We're saying, if you work 85 hours, they're not asking for time and a half, give them the 5 hours that they earn for comp time. That's all we're saying. We work the hours, and you're not giving nobody nothing.
Again, like.
Like,
I
if you
said,
work 6.5 hours, you get credit for 1.5 hours, because it doesn't go into effect till you're over 85.5 hours.
If it's comp time, you can take that also as vacation time or something, can you?
Well, that's
Well,
another
sure, but we don't
problem.
get it, is what we're talking about. The first 5 hours is for free.
It's all right. No big deal.
But again, as David said, this has been in effect since 1992,
At 20 years.
and we have a problem with the accumulated comp time anyway, because of, we used to have a shortage of deputies, now we have a full